Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for all of you joining us from around the globe. I'm Sarah Kelly, and I'm so honored to be your host today, coming to you live from Amsterdam. We're thrilled to have you here with us at the Reimagining Fundraising's final event. I hope you've settled in because over the next 2 hours, we have a wonderful lineup of speakers, awards, and of course, live pitching events. Over the past few months, Reimagining Fundraising's 14 co-initiators came together in an unprecedented innovation challenge. We asked for passionate people across the globe to collaborate, sharing their ideas and tested concepts, how to disrupt the world of fundraising. And the world responded greatly in ways we never could have expected. Their innovations have the ability to touch every facet of the co-initiators' outreach, from hunger to education to clean water, medical care to wildlife. The list is unending. Today, we'll hear from inspiring speakers on why do we need to reimagine fundraising? Why now? Today, we'll shine the spotlight on the groups and individuals who stepped forward, raised their hands, and shared their submissions and said, I have the power to create change. And will continue to pioneer fundraising in the future. Later today, you'll be given the opportunity to listen to those brave people as they pitch their ideas to potential co-creators and investors who have the power and the resources to move those ideas to the next stages for implementation. As an innovation manager myself, I realize that that's truly the dream word of every innovator, implementation. It's such an exciting time for these groups who are pitching. They've worked diligently over the past week to craft a vision and a story and a pitch that will convince these co-creators to say yes. And it's an exciting time for you as the audience. You're invited to not only listen, but to question and to participate. In each of these pitch rooms, you'll have the opportunity to share your questions, challenge the pitches, and give useful feedback. All of your comments will be available to the pitchers to read afterwards, and they'll be actively listening. In true co-creation spirit, your comments, questions, and feedback can be the growth or the encouragement these people need, so please don't be shy. So thank you once again for being here, our esteemed guests. Now I want to bring to the virtual stage our first speaker, Diana Ruano-Ortiz, who will answer those questions that I mentioned earlier. So why reimagine fundraising? Why are we doing this now? I've had the pleasure of working with Diana behind the scenes over the past few months, and her knowledge and passion for fundraising is absolutely infectious. And I know you'll feel the same as she shares her message today. With over 15 years in international fundraising, Diana truly walks the walk. Over the last 4 years, she's been with UNHCR as the Global Donor Development Manager, focusing in innovation. She has a panoramic view of strategy, investment, and income of private sector fundraising, and she's here today with a really important message to share. So the stage is all yours, Diana.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And thank you for everyone who is virtually here with us today. I think I speak on behalf of all Homo sapiens when I say that this year has been and has made us the most innovative we have ever been. Whether that's homeschooling our kids, whether that's teaching our grandma how to Zoom, or reimagining the way that we fundraise. Though I'm part of the UNHCR family in my day job, it is my absolute honor to be representing the nonprofit sector as a whole today. And I don't mean just the organizations themselves. I mean the movements behind what we represent, the individuals, the organizations, the companies fighting to end world hunger, fighting for climate action to be taken seriously, fighting for refugees to thrive and not just survive, fighting for girls to have the same rights as boys. The scale of our mission, the challenges we face are truly unparalleled and massive in scale. And fundraising is an absolutely essential part of this equation. Fundraising is what helps us fund our researchers, our doctors, our lawyers, our operations by and large. And yes, private fundraising has been growing during the last years, and for that we should be proud. But the pace is not even close to the scale that we need to be achieving. This is in large part due to the fact that we're stuck. We are stuck selling the same fundraising products for the last 20 years. And this means we are reaching our limit. And if we do not reinvent ourselves, we will continue to just be stuck, or even worse, start to be in rapid decline. And this stuckness is coupled with today's reality. We are in a global pandemic. Who knows if we're in the middle or the end of it, as its effects are still unraveling in front of our very eyes. What we can see already, though, is that it's having dire consequences on the nonprofit sector. Many NGOs are really struggling to keep afloat, to fulfill their missions. Funding to cover these humanitarian, environmental, and social issues are truly at a massive risk. All of this, coupled with one fact that Dan Pallotta describes so well in his brilliant TED Talk, The Way We Think About Charity is Dead Wrong. He states, nonprofits do not do brave, daring, giant-scale new fundraising endeavors for fear that if it fails, our reputations will be dragged through the mud. But if we prohibit failure, we kill innovation. And if we kill innovation and fundraising, we cannot raise more revenue. And if we cannot grow, we simply cannot solve the issues at hand. I hope it is clear to everybody listening that the time is now to innovate, and the time is now to join forces. We can all agree that many of our challenges are common. Therefore, our solutions should be common too. We simply cannot continue with business as usual. Every one of us should evaluate where we're sitting right now. Are we in the passenger seat for innovation, or are we in the driver's seat? This is why this moment right now is truly, truly unprecedented in time. We are coming together as a sector, as a global movement to innovate in an area that we have traditionally competed in to find tomorrow's solutions that will take us to the next level. How incredible is that? Though these 14 organizations are the co-sponsors or the co-initiators of the Reimagining Fundraising Challenge, hundreds more have joined and contributed their ideas and proven concepts. By working together, we can speed up the innovation process. And by that, I mean running tests together to quickly determine what's working, what's not working, sharing methodologies, comparing best practices, running design sprints together, and possibly investing together. And we are doing this for several reasons. One, not every organization can afford to run an innovation process by themselves. Two, in the real world, we share the risks. The viruses, the pandemics, climate change. So we're now doing that in our fundraising innovation too. And three, because frankly, it just makes sense to do so. Maybe it's taken a global pandemic for us to realize this. Because it's not about how much market share one NGO has versus another. Let's step back. It's about getting more resources channeled and more people giving to the nonprofit sector overall. It's about making the damn pie bigger. This event today is to celebrate and acknowledge everyone who has participated in the Reimagining Fundraising Challenge. 87 proven concepts and 152 innovative ideas. Wow. But this is only the starting point. If you've ever done a process like this, you'll know that ideation is the fun and easy part. We have a great portfolio of ideas and concepts, which is an excellent start. But now we need the commitment of everybody listening to get this off the ground and implemented. As part of this celebration, our plan is to launch a manifesto of innovation for the nonprofit sector in the form of a tangible toolkit. Our aim with this manifesto is to create a global innovation community that encourages everybody here today to come together, invest, and try things out. This manifesto will summarize not only the results of the Reimagining Fundraising Challenge, but will also collect some best practices tips on how to make sure you make the most out of this challenge. This is all coming in January, so please stay tuned. Remember Dan Pallotta's words, If we kill innovation and fundraising, we cannot raise more revenue. And if we can't grow, we cannot possibly solve the world's social and environmental issues. Reimagining fundraising is a first of its kind attempt to break this vicious cycle. What we are demonstrating today is that we are not only fostering innovation, but we're trying to fast track it for the entire sector. And this, my friends, is the right path to solving the world's largest problems. The impact this can have on the people we serve can truly, truly be unparalleled. But we cannot do it alone. We need you, and we need to tackle it together. Just before I go, I want to give a special thanks to Juan Moniz from UNICEF, who has been a Formula One driver of this initiative. And to quote our dear Juan, change is good, we do good, we do change. Thank you so much. Sorry, Sarah, I think you're on mute.
Of course I was. We had to get the first techie issue out of the way straight out the gates. What I was saying was thank you so much for that really powerful message and those inspiring words. You've really set the day up perfectly for us. So we really appreciate it. I didn't think I would have goosebumps so early in the day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Whew, I think we need a minute to digest that. It was such a powerful speech. I was so excited through that. But speaking of inspiration, we've been extremely inspired by the participants of the Reimagining Fundraising Challenge, and we felt like there was some well-deserved awards to be given. So throughout the day, we're going to give away 10 awards in total. And let's hear who our first 3 award winners are.
Good morning, everybody. My name is America, and I work for Action Against Hunger in Peru as country director. I would like to congratulate the participant who took the time to engage and write the most comment on our platform. Congratulations to the Busy Bouncer.
This winner jumped from idea to idea, leaving extremely useful comments and the most comments. Therefore, the Busy Bouncer Award goes to Lauren.
Hello, my name is Paulo and I work for Doctors Without Borders in Yemen as program coordinator. Currently, we are in the north of the country where we provide free health services for local communities and displaced populations affected by a war that hits this region since 2015. I would like to congratulate to the innovator who submit the most amount of ideas and concepts to our platform. Congratulations to the Determined Dynamo winner.
If determination took human form, this guy is what it'd look like. Submitting 5 ideas in the challenge, he is clearly the winner of the Determined Dynamo Award. It's Michal.
My name is Heritzam. I work for Plan International in the Americas Hub. That means that I work in Latin America. I'm based in Colombia. I work as head of business development and also as global project lead for local fundraising and new markets. I would like to congratulate the participant who submitted the closest to the deadline for submission. Apparently, we all need a bit of last-minute stress to succeed. Congratulations to the Just-in-Time Award winner.
The most deadline-driven innovator, just squeaking in before close, we give the Just-in-Time Award to Vibu.
Congratulations to all the winners. Don't forget, there are more awards to be announced later on, but right now it's the very exciting time we've been waiting for. I'll introduce you to the top 10 finalists of the Reimagining Fundraising Challenge, and directly after, it's off to the pitches. Don't forget, if you want to join the pitches, you can go to the official website of Reimagining Fundraising. Just select the pitch you want to hear and enter the room through the link. You're free to move from room to room as the pitches are given. All pitches will be given twice, so a 5-minute pitch and a 15-minute grueling Q&A. So you'll have an opportunity to see 2 of them live today. But don't worry, if you want to see more than 2, all pitches will be recorded and shared later for viewing. With all that said, please allow me to introduce the first 5 finalists in no particular order. Please welcome to our virtual stage, Akash, Julio, Graham, Chris, and Gareth.
Hello there, good morning.
Hello, gentlemen. Good morning. It's so nice of you to join us here today. Are you ready? So for the audience members, each of these finalists are going to have a singular solitary minute to introduce themselves and convince you to watch their pitches. So listen really carefully and maybe you want to take a few notes. Let's go ahead and get started. Akash, would you mind doing us the honors of being first?
Yes, sure. Should I go ahead and get started? Sweet. Hi, everybody. My name is Akash. I'm really excited to be here with you all today. Thanks for having me. The idea I'm sharing today is one I came up with just this past summer. It's been an especially hard year with all that's going on, from the ongoing pandemic to ongoing humanitarian crises to the burning down of Moria camp, and a lot of other things have happened. With all this in the back of my mind, I wanted to create a way for me to donate more regularly and make donating a habit. Unfortunately, I couldn't really find an easy way to make donating a habit, and so I came up with my own solution to make this happen. The idea I came up with is and it's an app that makes donating as simple and routine as ordering a cup of coffee. To learn more about the idea and see how you can help, join me in Pitch Room 1, and we'll be going over the details. Ways you can help do not only include financial means. So if you're interested in reimagining fundraising and digital solutions and democratizing giving, join me in Pitch Room 1. I'll be happy to talk with you there. Cheers.
Wow, that is a really great start and sets the next guys up for a little bit of a challenge. That was a really great pitch. Thanks so much, Akash. And again, he will be found in room 1. And now we're going to go to you, Julio, so you can dazzle us with your introduction.
Hi there. Thank you very much. It's great to be here with you today. So my name is Julio. I am co-founder and CEO of WMine. We are a data science and artificial intelligence startup specializing in fundraising and based in Rome, Italy. So artificial intelligence is has become a bit of a fad, and it's everywhere, right? Driverless cars, Siri, Alexa, so on and so forth. So how can fundraising join the party? During our session, we'll see an artificial intelligence we developed for fundraising, and specifically to increase redemption in fundraising for a series of objectives. Leads, of course, which is a very interesting objective, as well as direct mail, email, telemarketing, so on and so forth. We'll also be sharing some cases we did and some tests with already some redemption increase results. So if the idea of using artificial intelligence to better select your donor, increase your redemption rate, it's interesting for you, come find me in room 2. And yeah, I hope you're gonna have a great time.
Perfect. So as he said, he will be found in room 2, and such a cool concept. That leads us to our next member. So it's Graham. Let's hear what you have to say today.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Accessible Intelligence, and Accessible Intelligence is a business that we launched in May of this year after 2 years of development. And what we do is we output personalized and customized email marketing streams specifically to encourage the supporters of nonprofits to achieve a particular fundraising outcome. So for example, trying to get a one-time donor to become a monthly donor, or if you're an advocacy organization, maybe getting your activists to become donors for the first time. So we use machine learning, which is a discipline of artificial intelligence. And we use the technology to be able to cluster supporters using transactional information, as well as a custom database that we build to describe your marketing content. And then within those clusters, we look for behavioral patterns to predict outcomes. And then we distribute the marketing streams for each use case or each fundraising outcome. We launched with Rainforest Action Network earlier this year. And we actually managed to compete with them for the first use case, which was one-time donors to monthly. And we actually improved over their benchmark by 866%. So we'd love to share all of that with you and talk to you about it and let you know what we're up to. And it's in room 3, so I hope you'll join us.
Really nice, Graham. I'm sure your room is going to be buzzing. And again, Graham will be found in room 3. And that leads us to our next finalist. It's going to be Chris.
Thanks, Sarah. Hi, I'm Chris. I run the Raise Through program, and in short, we help charities to acquire new donors through Facebook. But today we're talking more about chat fundraising. So we all know that the way that we communicate with each other has changed pretty massively over the last 5 to 10 years. Obviously, these things have become a massive part of our lives, but so has messaging and chat. And so we think that the way that charities communicate with their supporters should reflect that. So we know that chat is the fastest growing marketing channel right now. There's a huge opportunity for nonprofits to make the most of that. And so we've brought together myself and Tony and Marco, who you'll meet if you come to our room and listen to our pitch, have come together to bring automated bots and human fundraisers together in some really interesting journeys that are really supporter-led and conversational, and we've seen some amazing results already. And so we're really trying to change the way that we do digital fundraising and modernize it in a way, I guess, which is what we're all sort of talking about today, to reflect more about how we communicate with each other in day-to-day life. So if you're interested in finding out how we're going to change the way we do digital fundraising with chat, then please join us in room 4 and listen to our pitch, and we'll be happy to answer any questions after that as well.
Nice, extremely cool, Chris. And again, Chris will be found in room 4 afterwards. And last, but of course not least in the group, let's hear all about you, Gareth.
Hi, everyone. Much like Akash at the start, we've posing a very similar question. So what if giving to charity was easy as buying your morning coffee? Well, at Ember, our mission is to make donating meaningful and effortless, enabling charities to focus on what really matters. Our product app solution seamlessly allows people to give to their favorite charities every time they purchase a hot beverage, making giving a daily habit. With the Ember-enabled coffee cup, people donate 25 pence to charity with every hot drink. The app then enables donors to find their favorite trusted charities, set their giving goals with their friends, and most importantly, see the impact that they're having on the lives of others. We are Ember, and you'll be able to find us in room 5, where we really look forward to seeing you there.
Thanks, Gareth. And again, because I've already said all the other guys' numbers, I want to say yours. You're going to be in room 5. The audience already has a really tough decision to make as to which pitch they're going to hear, and we still have 5 more finalists to talk to later. But that's it. That's our first 5 of the 10 finalists. Now to give you, the audience, a little time to make some notes of which of those pitches you want to see or who you may want to collaborate with or even invest in. We're going to take a few minutes to announce 3 more awards. So just a reminder, we were extremely inspired by the participants of the Reimagining Fundraising Challenge, and we felt like there were some people who deserved a big shout out. So here's the next 3 recipients.
Marhaba, my name is Amira, and I work for UNICEF Lebanon as a Communication and Youth Engagement Officer. And I would like to congratulate the participant whose innovative idea received the most community votes on this platform. Congratulations to the People's Choice winner. Alf Mabruk.
Everybody wants to be liked, but when your ideas are liked most, you get the People's Choice Award. And that goes to you, Akash.
Hi, my name is Lucas. I work as a fundraiser for SOS Children's Villages in Portugal. I'd like to congratulate the highest ranking submission on the criteria scale of impact. Congratulations to the Big Bang winner.
His idea was evaluated as having the biggest potential for impact, so we're naming him as this year's Big Bang Award winner. It's Graham.
Hola, my name is Olga, and I work with UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, as a communications officer. Today I'm speaking to you from Panama, where I work in UNHCR's Regional Office for the Americas, mainly communicating about the situation of Venezuelans, one of the largest displacement crises in the world at the moment. The pandemic has proved how important it is to think outside the box, to be creative and innovative, to continue helping the most vulnerable populations. Today, I'm here to congratulate the winner of the idea voted as the highest innovativeness. On behalf of refugees around the globe, congratulations to the winner of this creative and innovative idea.
This next award is for the creative of the creatives, being highest ranked in innovativeness. It was a three-way tie of teams, so all 4 people making up 3 different teams win the Cutting Edge Creativity Award. Congratulations, Connie, Matthew, David, and Severios.
Again, congratulations to all of those winners. We have just one more group of awardees later on, so be sure you stay tuned in for those. As the time is getting closer for those final pitches, I want to continue to introduce you to the top 10 finalists of the Reimagining Fundraising Challenge who will be giving their pitch of their lives today. So let me please call to the stage Tim, Jeanette, Oliver, Roberto, and Marcello. Sorry, Robert and Marcello. Of all names to say incorrectly, Robert was probably the easiest one, so I apologize for that, Rob. So welcome, everybody. Welcome once again to the audience members. Each of these finalists are going to have a singular solitary minute to introduce themselves and convince you to join them in their rooms and root them on or question their tactics during their live pitch sessions. So listen really carefully. Let's get started with you, Tim.
Thanks, Sarah. So I'm Tim. I'm co-founder at Daytaro, where we're using AI to build better performing fundraising campaigns. And I think a big problem in fundraising these days is that it's based on what donors have done in the past, not what they've done in the future. Thanks to advancements in AI, we can now understand each donor's individual journey and make accurate predictions about what they're going to do next. Imagine if you knew a donor was likely to churn, to give a gift, or to become a major donor in the future. Sound like science fiction? Well, it's not. Daytaro has created AI software to do just that. And if you'd like to know more, come along to my pitch in room 6 and I'll show you how it's done. I hope to see you there.
Very cool, Tim. A very intriguing 1-minute pitch. So nice. Again, Tim can be found in room 6. Let's make some room for Jeanette to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, Sarah. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Jeanette, and I am the head of innovation at Access Bank. I am also the founder and the chief strategist at Africa Rising Women in Innovation, a community of innovators championing the cause of African and New African women in innovation. My idea is fundraiser. Scratch the traditional cliche method of fundraising. How about the younger people? Once they hear the name fundraising, they think it's about donating huge sums of money. But with Fundraiser app, we can make them inclusive. It's an innovative app where the younger people can donate and raise funds in a fun manner. If you'd love to know about how, as a millennial or as a Gen Z person or as a social media savvy personality, join me in room 7 to know more about Fundraiser. Thank you.
Wow, thanks, Jeanette. I really liked what you said about scrapping fundraising. That's exactly what this challenge is all about. I'm pretty sure your room 7 might be maxed out. Wouldn't that be extremely amazing? Our next finalist, he can't join us for this portion of the day, but was kind enough to send a quick introduction ahead of time. So let's take a look at the pitch for Oliver.
Half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half. A quote from the founder of Unilever, Lord Leverhulme. Hi, my name is Oliver and I work for PlayerCart. At PlayerCart, we believe digital consumer journeys are clustered, unconsidered, and hinder their intended results. Currently, we live in a world where a consumer is targeted with thousands of advertisements per day, and our digital attention has become the most valuable commodity on the planet. Our attention span is shortening, however, the digital journey remains the same. How can a charity create cut-through and convert consumer emotion into donations in an effective way? We are a group of enthusiastic innovators that have built an instantly donatable ad format, no redirection to a website or third-party giving sites. Less faff, more fundraising. So please join us for our session as we explain our technology, how it works, and answer your questions. We're going to communicate to you the future of digital fundraising.
So if you want to join Oliver's room for his pitch, you'll join room 8. And moving right along to our next finalist, it's Robert. Now it's your time to shine.
My name is Rob Hayward. I'm founder of GoodFX, and I've been working with Lucy Casey at UNICEF to see how we can use fintech to cut costs in the international charity world. Global NGOs spend millions of commission every year when they fundraise in one currency, then convert it to another currency to do their work on the ground. They'll spend millions too much if they rely on old-fashioned technologies and don't take a centralized view of this spend. Our goal is simple: to keep as much money within the charity ecosphere as possible. Our platform allows international charities to save money on exchanges and manage payments centrally to reduce the velocity of those exchanges as well. With our promise to give 50% of our commissions to charity, it's a 50% rebate for you, which makes GoodFX a cost-saving device and also an innovative way for your corporate partners to fund you at no extra cost. London is the Centre for Financial Technology in Europe. Join Lucy and me in room 9 to see how we're harnessing that legacy for good.
And shine you did. Thanks so much, Robert, who will be found in room 9 later on. And now for our 10th and final finalist. Last but certainly not least, let's bring Marcelo to the forefront of the stage.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, everyone. I am delighted to be here this morning, this afternoon, or this night. So I will not reveal too much about what we'll be talking about, because you need to go to room 10 to discover why the people donate, or why we sign a petition, or why a photo is getting the higher level of conversion. So how we will be discovering is basically with something that we are trying to leave out or leave behind the old normal. We are proposing to embrace the better normal with a transformational project called the Reimagining Fundraising Brain Lab. That is a decision science pop-up research in a collaborative way. So I invite all of you to join me, and also we will be with Ana Paula Perez from SOS Children Villages and Valeria Galloso. So I am waiting all of you to see how we can transform fundraising through decision science. See you there.
Well, that's a very interesting tactic to get people to join your room. Let's hope that they do. And again, Marcelo will be in room 10, and that's the place to listen to his pitch. And there you have it. There are our 10 finalists. Hopefully all of you at home are wishing them well, just like I am. Thank you so much. And now you, our audience, have some decisions to make. Some tough, tough decisions. Right now, you can do one of two things. If you want to join the pitches, you can go to the official website of Reimagining Fundraising, which is scrolling across your screen now, reimaginingfundraising.org. Just select the pitch you want to hear and enter the room through the link. All pitches will be given twice, so 5-minute pitch and a 15-minute grueling Q&A. So you'll have an opportunity to see 2 of them live today. But don't worry, we are going to record all of the pitches so you'll have chances to see them after. Your second choice as an audience is to stay right here with me and join the few co-initiators of the Reimagining Fundraising Initiative for a panel discussion. It's an excellent lineup of influential people in the fundraising world, so you've got a really tough choice to make. I need to check a note for just 1 second. We are actually, and this never happens, 30 minutes ahead of schedule, 25 minutes now, 25 minutes ahead of schedule. So what I suggest we do is you all stay right here with me and listen to the panel discussion, which can start now. Is that okay with everybody behind us? I'm checking some messages. Carrie says yes. So perfect. You chose to stay for the panel discussion. Really, really nice. Please join me on screen. Christopher, Pina, Andrew, Beth, Samantha, Anne, and Marcos.
Hello.
Hello, welcome everybody. It's so nice to see you. I think we're missing just a few people still. Or am I? Nope, I guess that's it for today. So we will go ahead and start. Thank you for coming, everybody. It's so nice of you to be able to join us today for the discussion. Let's talk a little bit. There we are. Chris, I knew you were going to show up. You weren't going to let me down. Let's talk a little bit about reimagining fundraising. Of course, that's why we're all here. The entire concept had been unique from its inception, with these 14 huge INGOs who could be seen as competitors to one another, coming together for a common goal. Really co-creating together with a global audience. It's the first of its kind. And now we want to take advantage of having you all here with us today to share your thoughts on your insights on the challenge. So let's kick off and talk about that, reimagining fundraising. It's a global initiative, and with this challenge, what would be the ideal outcome for your organization? Who would like to tackle that one? Chris is raising his hand. Thank you so much, sir. Go ahead and let's hear what you have to say.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I hope everybody's doing well out there and as excited as I am. I mean, the whole point here is fundraising. It's ultimately about together to change the world in a positive way. And my hope is that we, as a result, can do more and can do better and in new ways. We need to do more. We heard it at our keynote speak from Diana. We need to do more, and we can do more. And we have the possibility to innovate. And this has so clearly been demonstrated in the lead up to this event and today in the amazing pitches we just heard, and which will take place in a few minutes.
Perfect. Did anybody have anything to add to that? Yeah, Sam, go ahead.
I can definitely add something. We're really, really excited to be part of this challenge. And for us, I think from my point of view, it's about making sure that the people in our organization have an opportunity to take a step back and innovate as much as they can. I've spoken to so many people this year who've said they feel like they're working harder than ever before this year, specifically because of the pandemic. And we don't get as much of a chance as before to have those little team discussions or one-to-ones where you can bounce ideas off each other. So for us, this is about forcing ourselves to take that step back, connecting with new people, discovering new ideas and opportunities, and making sure that we are taking the time out for our own personal well-being and our own personal development to make sure that we are being creative and fostering our creativity and our skills.
Really nice. It's funny because before the show today around 11 o'clock, when I knew that's when everybody would start getting ready, I messaged the whole team behind the scenes saying, be sure you eat lunch. Don't forget to, I think it's the mother in me wanting to take care of it. Self-care is such an important thing. And I think we've really learned that through the COVID crisis. So thanks for that, sharing that. The next question I have is maybe a simple question, but hopefully there's a more complex answer to it. What are or were your expectations of this entire Reimagining Fundraising Challenge? Andrew? Go ahead.
Sorry, I just unmuted myself. But first of all, just want to say what a privilege it's been to be part of the Opportunity Initiative. It's just been an amazing opportunity. So let me first start by saying that, my expectations have been well and truly exceeded from the get-go. It's just been a great group have come together. We've seen 14 impact-driven INGOs come together across the globe to be united as one within the sector when it comes to fundraising, not just what it looks like today, but also imagining and re-establishing what it could look like in the next 5 and 10 years. And that's probably the really exciting thing for me, is that what we see today is what we have with an audience, but the next 5 or 10 years, based on technology and how our audience wants to interact with fundraising and with charities and to give, particularly to the most vulnerable around the world, things are changing at a rapid pace. And part of this initiative, and we've seen already with over 1,300 participants, from not-for-profit companies, for-profit companies, startups, agencies, individuals, we're seeing technology drive a lot of this. And a lot of that is around frictionless and seamless giving. It's putting the technology and it's putting the opportunity to give in the place where people are at. It's not dragging people away from their day-to-day. It's actually trying to be where they're at so they can make their opportunity to give, which is a human, which is a part of being what a human is to give. And it's a pleasurable experience. We're there to make that experience even better and greater. So my expectations have certainly been well and truly exceeded. And I'm being so proud and glad to be part of this. And so is my organisation. So yeah, it's great.
What a lovely message. I should have maybe warned you all that I'm a crier. So let's not be so nice. I get emotional very quickly. Oh, that was really lovely. Does anybody have anything you wanted to add to Andrew's about your expectations? Anne, hi, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Sorry, we know we're a little bit earlier than expected.
Sorry, I had a webcam thing going on. Anyway, hi Sarah, thanks. I wanted to just pick up what also Andrew said about being there where we should be in the right places for our supporters, because I think this is what we also in SOS Children's Villages as a sector where we can be better. And I think if we want to follow the people where they are, of all different ages, becoming more digital, we need to continuously challenge ourselves. And ask that exact question of if we are where we should be at the right time, in the right channel, in the right place. So I can just say from SOS, we've been extremely happy to be part of this, already learned a lot. I think a lot of the submissions are exactly on what can be tweaked and optimized, where we are maybe already present, but just not using that fully. So this is something I hope we as an organization will take on a lot, question ourselves, challenge ourselves, and also strengthen some of these ideas that might already be in there on behavioral economics, initiatives in the organization that haven't gotten that attention that it should get so far. So from me personally, it's been a wonderful journey. I'm really happy to continue this also with this group across peers, across the sector. So thanks to all.
Thanks for that, Anne. And maybe this is a good time to mention to the audience members, we introduced the 10 finalists today, but there are other ideas that still can be brought forward. We had to make a selection to be able to present today. So those 10 finalists aren't the only ones whose ideas might be picked up and might be implemented by some of the NGOs. And even maybe some of the audience members who weren't co-initiators of this. So that's also really exciting as well, as it's brought so many people across the globe together in a way that's never been done before. So that's, thanks so much for that. Alrighty, now I'm going to ask one of you to bring out your crystal ball here and look into the future with us. Where do you see or imagine fundraising in the next, let's say, 5 to 10 years? Which one of you has that? Pina, you have the crystal ball already.
Yes, I suppose we've all been looking for one this year, and definitely within Plan International, we've been privileged to be part of this because we strongly believe that now it's very important for us to look into the future and do that together. COVID-19, new ways to pay and consume, acceleration of digital channel use, urbanization, climate change. Companies are even talking about the same issues that we NGOs used to talk about. It's very clear that the old ways of doing things won't be working anymore, and we have to find some new ways, and there will be the chance that if we don't renew ourselves, we will face problems. So we have to take new paths. But I strongly believe that the path we are now taking, and what I'm seeing, we are taking the path of collaboration and innovation together, is the one that will make NGOs thrive in the coming 10 years and being adapting to the changes that we will all face. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Marcos, did you have something to add? Yeah, please. And you guys don't have to raise your hand, just unmic yourself and speak up. I'm not like the teacher who has to tell you it's your turn.
Okay, no, thank you, Sarah. And just to add something about, I mean, not how the future I think is gonna look like. I think it is also important to, I mean, on this, it's pretty clear that innovation is gonna be part of it, and that's why we are, you know, doing this and trying to bring more people together to innovate, and I think that is pretty clear. But for me, fundraising, as Pinch said, is going to be much more digitized, more data driven. For me, that's pretty clear. Many of the ideas and proven concepts that participated on this challenge were about that. But on top of that, I think that also fundraising should be much more flexible and dynamic to try to, you know, face that very variable future. But for me, the point also is not losing that emotion and that you know, human touch. For me, that is what always has been driven fundraising, and we should keep that. Of course, taking advantage of all the digital developments, but making sure that we keep that emotion in place and we keep that human touch too.
Before anybody says it, before I accidentally cut somebody off, I just wanted to check that nobody had anything to add to that. Thank you so much. Why do you think your participation today is important for you and for your organization? Ooh, we got Ty there.
Ben, you want to go? There you go, Ben.
Ben? Oh, we can't hear you, Ben.
I think you're muted, Ben.
Nope, now you're muted. No, your mic's not working. Let's see what Andrew had to say while you work out your tech support.
Yeah, sure. Look, thanks again. It's great to be able to contribute. Look, why I think it's important to me and the organisation I represent, which is World Vision, I think there's two main things for me. One is we can't do this on our own. And when we try and do things on our own, we can be successful in our own little bubble and our own little circle, and we can impact children and lives around the world. But when we come together and unite, we can potentially, and I mean potentially, address major challenges more efficiently and more effectively around the world. And for me, this has just been a great example of what that could look like. I mean, I'd never imagined before this that we would get 14 INGOs together in a room where before we were seen as competitors and now we're peers, friends and colleagues. And for me, that's amazing. And I can only see greater things come from this in the future. So that's number one. Number two is we have costs associated with what we do, and when we can actually come together and unite, like I said earlier, we can honour our donors and who have given their money in order to impact the lives of people, vulnerable people in the field, in our impact work. And if we can show some efficiencies, if we can prove the efficiencies, that we can do things together and not duplicate our efforts, because quite often you can go to any one of our websites and we're kind of pushing the same things. If we could come together and unite a lot more, focus a lot better, even share a little bit more, we could use those donor dollars more effectively to where they need to go, rather than in duplication or in doing things, I guess, the same, Me Too type of style of approach. So for me, that's kind of two areas. One, being more efficient in unity, and secondly, we can save costs and we can make that donor dollar go even further.
Really nice. Sorry, I thought I saw a hand up there. So why do you think people should participate in this challenge? Sort of a what's in it for them question. Yeah, Sam.
I'm happy to take on this question. Thank you. No, I can think of so many reasons why people should take part in this challenge. from learning new skills, connecting with new people, discovering new opportunities. There's a million things I can think of. I think, kind of reiterating what people were saying before, one of the top reasons I think it's important is because this year, more than ever, we've found out just how adaptable we need to be. Innovating helps us to stay ahead of trends, react more quickly to changes, discover new opportunities. And in our organization, the teams that were able to, or that had that fail fast, agile approach embedded within their team culture, and that were ready to innovate, and that were flexible in terms of their plans, their strategy, their structure, the channels they were using, those teams are the ones that have been able to produce hugely successful campaigns this year, in spite of everything. So for me, this year has shown that we need to be adaptable. It's not a choice. It's something that we absolutely have to do right now. And this is the time to do it. And actually, this is providing the perfect space to do it. And then the second reason was just to reiterate what I said earlier about well-being and personal development. It's all about taking the time out for yourself, taking the time to be creative. And I personally have got so much benefit and enjoyment from this challenge in terms of meeting new people and connecting with other people. And that's just something that we can't always get in our day-to-day jobs. So yeah, this is a perfect challenge for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome back, Ben. Let's see if we can hear you now.
And how about now?
Oh yeah, perfect.
Hey, hi everybody. Sorry for going technical on you.
Okay. That's
I wanted
okay.
to say how good
like,
it is to be with you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
I don't know if you remember what question you were going to answer, or if you just want to.
Reasons to be involved, I think. I would happy.
Oh yeah, okay. Reasons to be involved.
Happy to speak to that. But first, I would like to say what a privilege it has been to work with you and these other colleagues. And I really hope and I really believe that this has been a turning point. I think ours is a sector, perhaps more than any other, that is there not for ourselves, not for self-interest, but for others, but for the greater good, for the benefit of others. And I think it's so appropriate that we should come together in this way. I think we can all tell our own experiences of having been in workshops, sessions, training, conferences, where for that moment, the sense of being in competition is suspended. And I really hope that with the start of this initiative, and also now with the success of it, I think we've got 239 creative, proven concepts, creative ideas come together in the course of 2 months. That this is something we sort of won't and shouldn't go back from. And I think this spirit of collaboration is something we should be taking forward. So I don't have the crystal ball to look 5 and 10 years out, but I am confident that we will be working together across our sector in ways that we haven't managed to do until now. And I think that's only right. So I celebrate that and look forward to more of this with you and other colleagues.
Yeah, thanks so much for that, Ben. And don't worry, Pina had her crystal ball, so we already had somebody who looked into the future for us. Yeah, really, go ahead, Marcos.
In that sense, I think that, and linking to what Sam was saying too, I think that it is so important to be part of this challenge, not just because what happened this year was great, but I mean, thinking on the future. I mean, it is so important because there is no other way of building an ambitious market. I mean, if we really want to do something relevant, significant as a sector, if we really want to develop this sector, we need to do it together. And this is also the most beautiful thing of the nonprofit sector. We are able to work together and we build together the market. And I think this challenge will be, if we are able to keep it going this way, will be a very important part of that effort, in creating and building the market and the sector together.
I think you're on mute, Sarah.
I said, thank you so much for that. Chris, did you have something you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. And first of all, I think you're on mute is the word of 2020, right? Or maybe the second word of 2020. Yeah, I mean, just to build on a few of the interventions we've just had from the panelists. I mean, the time is right, and the need is crystal clear. And I think the acid test is on not just talking but on doing. In Amnesty International, we have a lot of skill sharing, and it's absolutely brilliant and so important. But right now, we are just taking a step up in this collaboration inside of the sector and also wider and broader than the sector. And I usually say that that our skill sharing is a bit like a trip to Las Vegas. And of course, you know how the story goes, that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But the point here is this is actually the absolute opposite, right? We have to make it happen. We have to bring it back home and get it out into real life. These ideas that we are sharing here and have been created together can drive transformational change. And the way they've been created, that's what I take into this and the perspective. And I think that is why this is just extra exciting and so important.
Reimagining fundraising doesn't stay. Reimagining fundraising is for all of the world to come together and to enjoy. Now I'm going to ask you maybe a little bit more difficult question. So feel free to take a few seconds to think it through. What do you think are the top 3 priorities of 2021 out of that yet? So coming up next, what are the top 3 priorities? Or if you don't have 3, what's your top priority for 2021 for your business? I did say take your time, but don't take too much. Sam, the brave one to raise her hand. Thank you so much.
I think I don't have 3 because I'm thinking of it off the top of my head, but I think the big one for us is data. So that there's so many avenues to go down with that. Big data being like one of the main ones, but mostly as well in terms of having accurate data, sharing data effectively internally. That's a huge problem, but also making sure we have peer-to-peer, like that we're sharing data with each other and that we can compare across different markets. One of the things that I think is one of the biggest problems with innovating is that I feel like we're just reinventing the wheel a lot of the time. I know so many people that are doing the same like micro tests on different channels here and there. And then I reach out to another organization and they've done exactly the same thing. And we can work out what works. We just need to share. We just need better data. We need better dashboards. And so that's a priority. And on that kind of same line, I think a big priority for next year will be about social listening and data in that sense. So not just the quantitative data, but also qualitative, so that we are using social listening tools and other methods to really understand what our audiences are saying and engaging with them and innovating in that way. So any kind of innovation or things that we do in that sense are actually data driven and are not just things that we kind of assume are happening within our markets. So those are going to be huge priorities for us next year.
Nice, thanks, Sam. And Pina sent me a message to say you have something to add to that, so go ahead.
That was very good points that Sam brought up. Like I could have said the same things. I was like, I want to say these things, and she's like, oh, she's already taking this. So, but yeah, very, very good points. And I totally agree that now we have to really focus on the consumer needs and the consumer thinking. So what are we seeing in research is that people have this need to feel help one another. Actually this crisis has brought us together, but now we have to kind of capitalize it. And I believe that there is the need to for collaboration, a stronger one, not just within our organizations, but together with other organizations, and definitely looking into the solutions that actually come up in markets that are having different kind of products. So I believe that from private sector, the third sector can actually learn quite a lot And I'm so happy that there is such a representation from private sector in this project, because I think this innovative thinking and solutions that are being used now is something that we have to look into, because we are not just always like competing with one another. We are competing with Netflix. We are competing the time of YouTube using and so forth. So we really need to have an open mind. Thank you.
Really lovely. And not to take away from anything you said, but I do need to remind our audience right now that the pitch rooms are officially open. So you can go and listen to the pitches now for their first round. It is the pitch of their lives. So I know we're enjoying this panelist discussion, and we will continue on for the next 20 minutes. So we've got a lot more to say. But if there were some pitches that you really wanted to see, right now is your first opportunity to go to reimaginingfundraising.org and see those pitches. Back to our chat. Yeah, Marcos, you had something. Oh, sorry, and Anna as well. Let's see, Marcos first and then Anna.
Okay, thank you. No, I mean, about the future, about the 2021, I think that, I mean, at least for us, but I mean, I think that as a sector too, we it's a priority to create some more space for people participation. And I think that we've been working a lot through the sector about, donor journey and taking care of our donors and supporters and everything. But probably what we need to do, if we really want to mobilize people and make the people to feel part of our causes, is to finally prioritize those spaces for the people participation. And I think that is also our responsibility as a social sector, of course, to attend and serve the people in the field, but also we have that kind of responsibility to our supporters, and we should give some space for them to be to feel part of our organizations of the social sector. So I think that would be a priority too.
Thanks so much for that, Marcos. And you had something you wanted to add to that, or did maybe he cover it?
No, it's nicely connected, I think, to both what Marcos and Pina and Sam have mentioned already. I think it's reassuring to know that there are a lot of the challenges and what we have on the table for next year are actually related and the same. I know how often we have said data-driven already now for our planning, also for next year. And here would also my urge be, I think Andrew pointed that out too, that there are so many tools, as we also see among the submissions, that can really help us, but it comes with a cost. So here my urge would also be to some of the companies maybe that also took the brave step to use the opportunity and put in their ideas to make good deal with us as a sector. I think here we, as a sector, we maybe also need that extra help, and then we can be strong in our services, in our ways of becoming digital and data-driven. And just one second point too is what we as Children's Villages also have, or as I see as a challenge, is this way. You mentioned participation, Marcus, and I think for me it's also a question of what's the role of the programs when it comes to innovation. How we should make fundraising and not interfere too much, but we should maybe also, as big organizations, ensure that closeness or that also participation, involvement needed on the program side to shape what people are giving to. And I think this is something that we are also currently working on. and hope to find some good solutions on also next year.
Perfect. Thanks so much for that. We actually have questions coming in for the audience, so I'm going to read the first question so you guys have a few seconds to think about what the answer is going to be. So a question from the audience was, how do panelists view implementing proven solutions from the business world towards the nonprofit world? So practically speaking, how difficult is it for nonprofits to adopt to business concepts? Yeah, Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, not difficult at all. We love it. We want more of it. We definitely want to engage with that. At my role at World Vision, we are actively going out, engaging strategically with external partners that have technology to engage with new audiences, particularly Gen Z, younger millennials. We must engage with external partners. To try and create that type of thing in-house would cost us a fortune to do that. We need to engage with our for-profit brothers and sisters out there, our corporations, in order to make it a reality. We can't do it without them. So it's a big yes for me, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you more.
Nice, and I noticed when I was reading the top 10 ideas, a lot of them are geared towards those genres that you mentioned, the millennials and the Gen Z. So good. Ben, you had something you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, it is related to that question, but it was really to pick up on something Marcos said around space. Actually, when you'd asked previously around the priorities for next year, I'm going to fail to give you 3, as everybody else has done. But the kind of maxim I have in my mind looking ahead to that is about making space. I think if I look at what I will now do differently, having been part of this challenge, putting it together, it's been a significant time investment, I think, for us and obviously for the participants more widely, but really, really valuable. And that's something in the planning and the way that we'll plan next year that we're going to have to take into account to create space for this kind of collaboration without necessarily knowing from the beginning what will the outcome be. And that's something, if we look at the things otherwise that we could suggest as priorities, I think in many cases they've already been priorities for some time, and of course we'll continue to make progress and advance. But I think we need to really have a new category, a new piece in our job descriptions that's about intentionally making space for this kind of sector-wide collaboration. Also making space, and maybe this is to pick up on a point that Sam has now helpfully made a couple of times, around self-care. I think we all have been feeling we're working at an increasing and at some point, therefore, unsustainable pace. So we need to make space in that sense as well. And then also to make space to be really hearing and listening from the people that, of course, we're here to serve, but also the people who are funding these causes. So that, of course, will include working with the private sector. And I think I would just complement what Andrew has said to say, well, I think you can, in many cases, you can see that there is an additional interest in working more widely with the private sector, but it comes at some point with a greater sense of risk that if it's not been tested and proven in our sector, well, it might be great, but we're going to be the first ones to find out. And that's where I think a challenge like this can be really helpful in us sharing that thinking and sharing that risk together.
Nice. And I just want to bring up the point of what you were saying about self-care. I've noticed, especially since lockdown, especially empathy comes up quite a bit. Even as I was helping everybody with their pitches and preparing for today, and just letting them know, I think we've all become a little bit more empathetic. If my dog barks in the background, you guys aren't going to be quite as angry as you would have been last year, interrupting, or if a kid runs in. I think we've all learned to be more empathetic towards one another, but also towards ourselves. And I think that's a really important skill. But what you said again about active listening as well, we've all had to become better listeners to what do our donors need, what do we need, and how to turn those needs into actions. So that was really good. Did somebody else? Sam, did you have something, or were you taking a drink? No.
I was taking a drink,
but
okay. I can add something if you.
Well, just 1 minute,
because I was going to talk about the.
I saw one note saying Please, audience, if you can join room 2 and 4, they needed to refresh their pages. They had a little bit of a hiccup, so they're just starting their pitch now. So anybody who wanted to watch pitches in room 2 and 4, now is the time to do that. But Sam, since you already started, I will go ahead and let you continue.
No, I was just going to go back to the question that we were talking about before about implementing solutions from the business world, because I know Marcus raised some good points there. And I just wanted to reiterate that say the same thing, that for us, I think there's just so much that we can learn from the business world, and we shouldn't be shying away from that kind of innovation, because that's exactly where a lot of the progress has been being made. And actually in the NGO sector, sometimes we find ourselves being way behind the business world and the corporate world. And actually that's where a lot of the innovation is. So I think there are challenges, and I think it would be strange to say there are no challenges at all, but I absolutely think it's worth the effort. And I love this challenge because it brings together some of that, like anyone was welcome to take part. And I'm really enjoying hearing some of the submissions from non-sector work as well. That's what I wanted to say.
Nice. And that was actually a very beautiful segue into the next question that I wanted to ask from the audience, which is, we've spoken a lot today about collaboration, but especially as in your level, what is the best way to approach you or approach your organization and begin discussions with you for collaboration? I think this is going to be the answer of every salesperson's dreams. So hopefully everybody is paying attention. But if you are to be approached by somebody who thinks they have an innovative solution for you, what's the best way? Yeah, Marcus.
Yeah, of course. I mean, through the Global Open Innovation Challenge, that's a very good option, and for the next years. But also just come and just let's talk about it. I mean, I think that we are very open-minded and very open organizations in general, and I think that this sector. The third sector is by nature is a very open sector. So yeah, I mean, just let's talk about it. Let's open the conversation, and because we are open to listen, but we like to be listened to. So I think that just talk about it, and I mean, approaching to us, it is very easy. So I wouldn't, I mean, just bring the idea and let's talk about it, and let's work together on that idea. But, I mean, we are big organizations, so we are implementing programs in many countries. So what maybe an idea, maybe an idea is bringing a solution for one market, but it's not for the other one. So if you are open to that, to deal with that kind of diversity, I think there is no problem at all in open the conversation. We are very easy organizations.
Nice. Chris, you had something you wanted to add?
Yeah, absolutely. We're easy, and we're also very kind. But also, I think a really good point for a pitch to be successful is also to show scalability, and maybe not go for the whole big thing in one go, but okay, can we find a market where this is opportune to test, and then do it in that way, and then be able to scale after that. And then I would say the appetite is there now. I mean, if at any time you would want to serve an interesting menu to someone, that's now. Our fundraising mix has changed so dramatically in 2020. A lot of new things have come in already, and my hope looking forward is that we keep the best of those and continue in that direction of travel, and also keep the best of the old. And sometimes we are behind other sectors, and sometimes we are before. I mean, for an example, the regular giving model, which is so key for many of these organizations and for fundraising in most parts of the world. I mean, that's essentially a subscription model. And now that has been taken over, right, by Netflix, of course, the biggest one, but the gyms and the contact lenses and whatnot you subscribe to these days. But that's a core element to keep. So keep what is good, get out of what is not good, and get on the train with the new ideas that are taking us forward. And the appetite and the need is there. So let's do it now.
Oh, once again, you get me all choked up, give me goosebumps. Did anybody have anything that you wanted to add to that? Or is there another way that you like to be approached or you prefer? And another question I had, as I think Marcos was speaking, is how much of a concept are you willing to invest in? So does this need to be a fully shelf-ready product, or is it something that you're willing to build with an innovator on? That might be interesting for some of the audience today. Like, how ready to market does their products need to be before they can approach you? Andrew, you had your hand up, but now I have asked another question, so that's not fair. But answer whichever one you wanted. That's
fine. Yeah, look, I'm certainly like others on this call and on the panel that, yeah, we welcome the opportunity to speak and listen to new innovative opportunities to bring to our sector, I think, which is great. I think from what I always try when I'm in a discussion with someone is to make sure that I talk about, that we have to honor our supporters as well, about good stewardship. So we don't have massive budgets in order to deliver key opportunities or things that people feel we must have, and I've got probably 10 emails in my inbox already about things I must have for this organization I work for. But we have, as long as people are willing to come to us with a conversation, understands our constraints around we're using donor dollars, supporter dollars, in order to grow what we do in order to impact the lives of vulnerable people around the world, then that's a great position to start from. And the other thing too is around a win-win opportunity. So come to us willing to put a bit of skin in the game. It's not all about you getting access to our data files and our donors. It's that may happen, may come, but it may not as well. Because that's something we protect, because it's very important. And in some countries, it's not legal to do that. In most countries, probably. But it's about coming with a bit of an attitude of win-win opportunity, and also come to us with the willingness to put some skin in the game. If you have a proven concept, then show us. If you want to test things with us, we can do that. But look also to come to invest with us, not just to hopefully we'll buy something from you, because that's just a one-way street, and that's not what we're about. We don't do that to our beneficiaries. We don't do that to our supporters. We're all about collaboration, unification, and doing it together. So.
Nice. Thanks so much for that. We're running out of time. We only have 3 minutes left. Did anybody have anything that they wanted to say that you didn't have an opportunity to? Is there any encouraging words that you want to leave our audience with as to maybe next year's Reimagining Fundraising? Ben, go ahead. You have the floor.
Thank you so much again. Yeah, I think we have something really quite precious in our hands at this point. It's come together very quickly in the second half of this difficult year. And I really hope that we won't therefore just sort of see this as a great initiative that happened and we took the learning and ran away. I think what we should be trying to do is take the principles that have brought us this far, which is broadly around collaboration and openness, and continue to work with them as we go forward. So I could see these principles guiding us and being worked out in a few particular ways in the months to come. So the first would be around this sort of manifesto that Diana mentioned earlier. We're going to be coming back to you probably late January with the summary learning, the kind of combined wisdom that's been created through this, primarily, but not only the innovative ideas, the proven concepts, but also the learning that we've generated through running this and how we think people can best engage with this. But I also want to encourage me and all of us to share the learning as we take some of these ideas, put them to the test, put them to work for the causes that we stand for, that we are for, that we do that together, whether that's an investment or not, but certainly sharing the learning. And I think that would also partly be perhaps of interest to the people who are asking, how can we engage with you? How can we meet with you? I think, yes, the kind of formal submission window has passed at this point for this year's challenge. But we will continue to self-organize through this platform. So please do register through reimaginingfundraising.org to be kept up to date, to see what's happening. And I think we'll probably find that we self-organize as a group, as a kind of open group, probably, around particular ideas that we want to test and run together. Let's do that. And then the final way that I see, and I'm sure you'll add others, is that let's do this again. next year. I mean, we would have never generated the breadth and depth of creativity that this challenge has brought together alone. I think that's probably true for any of the co-initiators. We couldn't have done it, even the most set up in this space. So it's clearly worth doing. Let's continue to do it, putting it to action right now, but also running this challenge again in 2021.
Yeah, I've already been thinking about ways that I can participate next year as well. And I don't even work for an NGO, but I'm thinking of it for sure. Now, it's been absolutely lovely. And I'm not yet. Come knock on my door. No, and I want to sincerely thank these panelists for your time today, for sharing your time and your expertise with us here. I imagine that the audience is at home clapping all for you. So thank you so much for this, and we really do appreciate your time. So
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And right now, I'm actually extremely curious to find out how our finalists are doing in their pitches. Only time will tell. And until that time, we have our final 3 awards to announce. So let's get right to that.
Hi, this is Hungary, and I'm Roland from WWF Global Development Center. Congratulations to the Teacher's Pet.
She was every evaluation team's dream, being the first to submit a fully completed evaluation, and therefore Megan is awarded with Teacher's Pet.
Hello, my name is Natalie, and I greet you on behalf of SOS Children's Villages Ukraine, where I raise 8 wonderful children as a mother caregiver. Today, I would like to congratulate the highest ranked submission on the criteria scale of feasibility. Congratulations to the silver plate winner.
Ranking highest score in feasibility, he served his solution up on a silver platter, winning him the Silver Platter Award. It's Josh.
Hello everyone, my name is Marina Loza. I work for Amnesty International Argentina as a face-to-face manager. As you know, Amnesty International works on a grand variety of topics related to human rights around the world. Thank you very much for this initiative. It is great to innovate and raise more funds for our important work. I would like to congratulate the highest ranked submission on the criteria scale of scalability. So congratulations to the King Kong winner.
Nope, it's not a group of gorillas. It's a team of people who came up with the evaluator's choice for most scalable solutions, winning these 3 the King Kong Award. Congrats to you, Marco, Chris, and Tony. Not only that, their solution was also the highest rank of all the evaluation criteria overall. Therefore, they're a double winner. The Magna Cum Laude Award again goes to Marco, Chris, and Tony. Congratulations.
Mabuhay, I'm Lani Carillo from World Vision Philippines, currently doing relief operations here in the island province of Catanduanes, where many of the families are affected by Super Typhoon Goni. World Vision wants to thank everyone who supported our response. I also would like to congratulate the innovator who received the highest marks on all criteria from their submission. Congratulations to the Magna Cum Laude winner.
How fun is that? Congratulations to those winners. And thank you to all the supporters who created the videos announcing the awards. I always feel it just makes it feel that much more special for the recipients, I'm sure. And with that little bit of time passing, it gave our finalists time for their first 5-minute pitches and their first grueling 15 minutes Q&A. In each of those pitch rooms, we had a reporter present so they could give us a quick play-by-play of what's been going on. So let's hear what they've had to say and how that first round of pitches went. Please welcome Jessica onto the screen to hear about what happened in her pitch session.
Hey, hi everyone. So I had the pleasure to attend the session about the ID Give a Sip, and I was delighted to be the donator there because I love this ID. So basically, Akash, who presented this ID, just explained that there is so much choice for everyone, you know, so many organizations that you could donate to that it's difficult to make a choice. You don't know the one you can trust, and of course there is those big global organizations, but for the smaller ones, it's always tricky to make that decision. Also, there is some type of seasonality, in how you give money. So there is a tragedy happening, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I need your help. And so you're making a big donation because you have the feeling that a bigger amount will make an impact, make a difference. And but when there is nothing happening, you tend to forget that other organizations still need money on an everyday basis. So life is happening, it takes over, and then you forget about it. So the solution that he's proposing is basically to raise the number of smaller but more frequent donations. And Give a Zip is basically related to grab a drink. So the whole idea behind that is to first propose a list of curated, reliable organizations and make the donation process super easy and fast. And so for that, he start to develop an app where you would pick a drink. So you can pick a cappuccino, for example, which represents an amount of money. You pick a type of blend. So this is the type of organization you want to support. So it could be a group of local organizations or big ones, or a mix, 50-50. And then you press the button and you see the coffee coming down, and it makes the donation. And the good part is that you can set your preferences. You can set reminders. You can also automate it, regular donations. So it's super easy in a fun way. I'm sure it's going to be very appealing to a younger audience. And a lot of people were attracted to this session and to that pitch. And we got a couple of good questions. But I think what I want to highlight there is what they need. And he clearly explained that, of course, they need some fundings, a little bit of money to start, but also they're looking for endorsement, because that's what's going to make people download the app, which is really a major part of the success of that concept. And they're also looking for mentorship from bigger global organizations that do have experience of how to select smaller organizations, how to make the right decisions in the one you're going to endorse through the app. And what I thought was very interesting is he also highlight the fact that through that app, they want to educate their audience. They want to make them aware of different causes, of different organizations that don't have a lot of press media coverage. They want to educate their audience also about what does that mean to make such donation? What is the impact? Seeing what your money is being used to. And I thought that was a fantastic concept. I think people in the audience really liked it. And I'm delighted he's on the top 10 finalists today.
Thanks so much for that, Jessica. I had a chance to speak with him yesterday about his idea and his pitch. And again, like you, I thought it made it so simple for you to be able to donate. And it was one of those ideas where like, why didn't I think of that? Because I think it's going to go really far. But thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And it makes You're welcome. We'll see you. It makes me extremely curious as to what has happened in our other pitch rooms. So let's bring Dilo to the screen to find out more. Welcome.
Hello, Sarah. It's Dilo here from UNICEF. I was in a room, a very interesting initiative called Play Card with Oliver, who presented something that I'm sure you all are very interested about, which is how we drive engagement and how can we get more donations using the videos. Basically, the world is one video and video drives donation, but many organizations are struggling to get some direct donations with the content they produce. So PlayCard has developed a video player solution compatible with Instagram, with Facebook, with YouTube and other platforms that enables any charity to convert their online video asset into an instant donation portal. It's very easy. The user never leaves the video. They can donate to the organization with only one click. Very easy. The platform accept PayPal, Apple Pay, credit card, and even the telephone bill can be charged. So according to this, Oliver claimed that this technology can exponentially grow a charity's fundraising volume by reducing the friction in their online checkout process. Very interesting, a lot of questions in the room. Some of the questions were about this could potentially work a lot for one givers or for one specific donation in one particular moment, but also Oliver explained very well that this tool can help for regular givers and even can be used for lead generation. Another question was about, how can this tool be implemented in multi countries, in many markets? It's proven successful, many tests has been done. And one interesting thing, an example that Oliver shared with all of us in the room is how can we use this in live events? And this is critical in these COVID times, with many live events going on, with high-profile celebrities and goodwill ambassadors, etc., etc. This tool can have an interesting impact in those live events. And apparently, he was sharing some of the results of the big initiative. And apparently, I'm looking at my notes, in a live event, they had a 10% conversion rate, which is very good. In terms of risk, they have seen two main risks. One is trust in the tool. For some people will be pretty new and they will be reluctant to make a donation and give the credit card number to something they don't know. And the other thing is data protection. And apparently they have a very strong internal legislation for data protection. So that part is pretty much covered, and it seems to be very safe. Over.
Wow, thanks. That sounds like a really exciting pitch. I don't know how the audience can choose which one they want to do. Thank you so much for reporting back to us. We appreciate it. So moving on to the third pitch, we're going to welcome Pedro to the screen and share what's been happening in his pitch room.
Hello, everybody. So Pietro here from Hype Innovation. I know the name is confusing, so don't worry about that one, Sarah. So I just came from Pitch Room 2, where Julio was actually pitching on behalf of his startup WMind. And he actually started his pitch very interestingly, which was to describe some real world challenges that fundraisers face when they actually have these long lists of leads and they actually don't know which of those leads they need to spend time and resources on to effectively convert them into donors. And so he was explaining how they have developed this artificial intelligence called GiveRank. And this AI actually increases lead to donor conversion by analyzing leads' online behavior and predicting which leads then have a higher chance of converting into donors. And Julia was also so wonderfully kind to explain this in layman's terms and very simply so that everybody can understand this, even if they're not necessarily very techie. And as Awana, the moderator, also pointed out, this is such an interesting idea because the people who developed this AI actually come from a combination of people with experience in the industry as well as people from the scientific world. And so it was a very interesting pitch, and the audience was very interested as well. They had lots of questions for Julio. For example, the question of man versus machine. So does this mean that this AI is effectively trying to replace the data scientist working within the NGO sector? And Julio is actually explaining that no, you always need a combination of both, man plus machine. And this could actually enhance the way that these data scientists are doing their jobs, and they can also focus on other problems. Another big question from the audience was, well, has this algorithm been tested in non-European markets? And Julia was explaining why their model and their engineers, they work agnostically, and the way that they develop this AI means that it could work in any market and any country. And also after this, Julia dived into, is this something that is still relevant in the post-COVID world? And of course, yes, this is something that continues to be relevant as we go into a more digital age. And it was all very interesting. And I would suggest that if you have the time, please check out his idea or even their website, because it is a really, really interesting concept.
Nice. Thank you so much for that. And apologies for calling you he. But I had one question for you. Was there, because in my mind, 15 minutes of Q&A is an extremely long time. Did it seem to go by quickly, or was there enough interest in the room?
Yeah, so in the beginning, people were struggling to join the room, so we started a bit later. So we had quite a long introduction period, but when the Q&A started, it was very comfortable. It wasn't rushed at all, and it was just interesting because the way that Julio engaged and presented his answers was easy to understand, and I think the audience was very happy at the end of the pitch.
Perfect. Thanks so much. I really appreciate your reporting today. That was fantastic. So there you have it, your first 3 reports. Don't worry if you're now wishing that you would have joined in. We know that today you were spoiled for choice into which room you should stay in. But all of the pitches are going to be available for you to catch later online on the Reimagining Fundraising org site. I've mentioned it a few times before, all of the months of work leading up to this challenge, the co-initiators coming together, and all of the people it took working together to make this event happen today. But there are 2 very special sponsors that we'd like to put into the spotlight today for their unwavering support. So please join me as we watch these 2 videos from our friends at Hype Innovation and Resource Alliance.
Thank you for the kind introduction. I'm Sandra from Hype Innovation. We're the sponsoring partner providing the platform for reimagining fundraising. It was just such a pleasure for my colleagues and I to be part of this initiative. It's so amazing to see so many of you here and celebrating with us. You know, some world problems require more people than we can fit in a room. And when that happens, we use online tools to bring people together who have ideas how to help. And that's exactly what happened with Reimagining Fundraising. The whole world was invited, so we're not just seeing organizations collaborate that usually compete for funds, but anyone being able to innovate no matter where you are and what you do. That just means way more creativity and exciting new ideas and concepts. You could say that this was the world's knowledge donation to NGOs everywhere. We're all hoping to innovate fundraising so that the co-initiators of Reimagining Fundraising and many entities like them can continue to have a great impact on planet and people. Now, for decades already, commercial organizations have been tapping their collective brainpower to solve business problems and innovate the way that they work. In recent years, we've been helping NGOs to do the same. Let me give you a little bit of a background here. We're a software and services company providing a platform and consulting for innovation at scale. And what that means is that we help large or complex organizations and communities innovate for people, planet, and profit. This could be coming up with new ideas and products and services or improving efficiency. This can also mean groups coming together to improve sustainability, to reduce your carbon footprint or your plastic consumption, and responding to emergencies such as a pandemic. As Hype's head of social impact and sustainability, I'm so glad to have been part of this journey and look forward to seeing software and tools applied to many more great causes. If you and your organization are also interested in innovating for a great cause and wider business purposes, please feel free to reach out. Now go ahead, get even more inspired, celebrate with us, and enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.
We've faced great challenges. Economies around the world have slumped. There are massive job losses, and some governments are cutting back on foreign aid and reducing spending on domestic poverty alleviation. As a result, income has declined, forcing many social impact organizations to reduce services, furlough staff, and in some cases close their doors. This could not come at a worse moment. Climate change, conflict, and COVID-19 has pushed as many as 150 million more people into extreme poverty. There has never been a more important time for us to come together, to challenge norms, push boundaries, and open our minds to new ways of generating critical resources for social good. For 40 years, the Resource Alliance has brought the global social impact sector together through the IFC, FRO, pop-ups, and Emerge to unleash new ideas, new models, and new thinking to accelerate progress in the world. Now, through the power of digital, every fundraiser and changemaker anywhere in the world can connect, learn, and share through the Resource Alliance global community. As a friend and member of the global community, you will have year-round access to world-class resources, knowledge, peer support, and thought-provoking conversations to help build better resourced, more resilient, and effective social impact organizations. Diverse and inclusive, the global community brings us together to grow through learning and grow even more through sharing. Because when we do, we have the greatest hope of building a more just, equitable, and healthy world for everyone. Visit www.resource-alliance.org to sign up. #JoinTheAlliance.
Really lovely. Thank you so much for those messages. And while we've been busy being inspired, our second round of pitching has been completed, and we've got our reporters on standby to share what's been going on. So let's hear what they have to say. Welcome to the room, Sandra, Volker, and Mitch.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. My neighbors have suddenly decided to start drilling downstairs. I'm like, awesome, perfect timing.
Yeah, way to go.
Hopefully you can't hear it too much. But would you like to kick off the session and give us the...
Definitely. Okay, so I was part of Room 5, which was a really interesting concept there. It's called Ember, and it was developed by a group of students from Imperial College. Actually, they're graduates now. And so it's 5 people that all came together. And essentially what they're trying to do here is that when you go and buy a coffee, then you can donate to an organization that you think is trustworthy. So with each cup of coffee that you buy or another hot beverage, basically you have like the sleeve on your reusable cup that is recognized through RFID. And it donates 25 pence, because this is in the UK, each time that you buy a cup of coffee. Now, I think that this is really interesting because it goes really well with the whole concept of when you go and buy a cup of coffee and you use a reusable cup. They reduce the price by 25 cents or pence each time. So this time you're keeping the coffee at the same price, but you're making that donation every time. So they've actually really developed everything. They're actually also, like, they have a business case and everything. And essentially what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a convenient experience so that while you just buy a cup of coffee, which we all do in the morning, you can have that positive experience conveniently to donate while you're doing something that you would be doing anyways, right? It gives you this warm glow, so the positive feedback that you are doing something right now. And one of the essential parts that I saw in there was the community that you're creating with that. So the app will show you the impact that you're having on the lives of others. So they will share these impact stories to make it more transparent so that people trust these organizations more, which is one of the essential reasons why millennials and younger people tend to be a little bit skeptical about donating. You can engage with the local community, so you can set a goal of like how much you want to donate. You can go ahead and have events for it and share it with your friends. And you can have your own personal goals in there. So it's really all kept together in the app. And of course, that whole side of the sustainability where you don't use the disposable cups all the time anymore, but now this time you're using your reusable cups and you have the sleeve on it, so you're donating every time. And I thought that was just really, really interesting. So right now, this is a team of 5 people. They're actually currently looking for a software engineer. Right now, their team consists of 4 guys and 1 lady. So if I may, I would like to encourage some of the ladies that are listening right now to see if that would be a good job opportunity for you guys, or girls, to work at Amber.
Thanks so much for that. And Sandra, can you remind us again which room that was in? So if any of the women or men are, it was in room 5. So you can always go back through and check that out. And it was called Ember. Thanks so much for that really detailed report. I appreciate your help today.
Thank you, Sarah.
And I'm sure our audience is just as curious as I am to find out what's happened in our next pitch room. So let's bring Volker to the screen and find out more. Welcome, Volker.
Hi, Sarah. Nice to be with you today. Actually, in room number 4, it was very busy. It started off with a couple of issues, but we had a very interesting pitch and some interesting questions also. So I was with Chris, Tony, and Marco, and they're doing messenger fundraising, combining bots and human fundraisers to acquire supporters. So the main aim is to generating new donors and supporters through chats in a streamlined manner, targeting the big issue of having too many different channels when running fundraising campaigns. So for example, social media ads, you also have websites, emails, and maybe even television. And with email being the only actual mean of communication, however, email is outside of the business world not really meant to be a communication means. So this issue has been targeted, and at the same time, there's more than 1.3 billion users of Facebook Messenger that uses this messenger every day, every second. And so there is already the main audience that you need to target. And this is reflecting one of the key benefits of their concept. So the bots can be triggered through an Facebook ad, for example, and then the bot will actually qualify you in the messenger whether you are a potential donor or not. And if he qualifies you as a potential donor, then actually the human being will blend in the fundraiser to do the quality work. So it's also allocating resources efficiently, handing masses by the bots, and then the fundraisers can actually focus on the quality work. Now, then when we came to the question, it was actually quite interesting to see that the obvious question was in the very beginning, what about data protection? Lots of people are worried, especially when it comes to social media, what about my private data? So they can perfectly blend in your existing infrastructures. There's shouldn't be any issues there. Another aspect was actually the question for extension. So what about going through WhatsApp? So there they're having, it's not having difficulties, but it's more difficult in general to integrate WhatsApp. But this is also on their agenda. So the extension possibilities for this concept are huge. And very interesting one was also because you need to have a different skill set when you do chat fundraising than opposing to, for example, talking to somebody in person. When you talk to somebody in person, body language is very important, eye contact. When you call somebody, your language and your voice. And then how to manage this. What is the key criteria for a chat fundraiser? And that obviously comes to what is your typing speed? How accurate can you spell? And in general, what is your writing capabilities allow you to do? And then the very last one, the topic was, what about the negativity around Facebook and in general social media? What if Facebook decides to take this over and not allow this anymore? And in general, what about the Messenger EU regulations, for example? Are you allowed to do this? And the team around Chris, Tony, and Marco handled it very well, and we're explaining all the different kinds of possibilities that you can use it for. It's streamlining a lot of your processes, and it's been tested already with the UN Women Australia and also with Greenpeace UK. In general, very exciting pitch. And yeah, I can advise anybody to read further into this.
That sounds like it was a really cool and busy room. A really interesting concept. Thanks so much for coming back to report that for us. And now we're going to bring to our stage our last reporter, and it's a guy that I absolutely love working alongside. It is our friend from Hype, Mitch. Mitch, come on screen and tell us what you've been doing today.
I think somebody put me on screen. Hi, Sarah. Thanks for having me. So yeah, I'm another face from Hype. I'm super excited to join you in such a potentially world-changing occasion. And I joined the pitch in room 3, which is transforming fundraising through AI-powered marketing automation. To me, as a marketer, this is obviously super exciting, right? So we are working with similar techniques, and I was delighted to join Graham Covington on his pitch. And earlier he introduced us to the general concept. And the point here is it's about machine learning, right? And to understand how powerful this idea is, you need to understand, like just a basic understanding, right, of machine learning. And Graham devoted a good portion of his time to explaining that, which is definitely necessary. And so just let me relate this to you a little bit in simple words, if possible. The general idea is very simple. So what have you got today? You segment your audience. You identify specific channels and messaging that is unique to each of those donor clusters, if you want, right? And this is a lot of manual work. And well, Graham says, well, use machine learning, it's much faster. That's the simple idea. But what does it mean? So he had Gordon Walsh with him, their chief data scientist, just to make sure he's got all the backup he needs. Wasn't needed though. So just in simple words, machine learning is used to predict things very simply, right? So in this specific case, we are trying to predict donor behavior, right? So it relies on a vast amount of data to train the algorithms. This data was taken from the sister company, Engaging Networks. That's obviously a network, like the name says. And NGOs are doing fundraising on this network. So they had a lot of transactional data on this network. So Accessible Intelligence now trained their algorithms with this transactional donor data to predict how people donate, right? And then you go through the algorithms and go to the algorithm and say, that is the right prediction, that is wrong, that is right, that is wrong. And at a point, the algorithm is ready, right? And then you can use it. And then it clusters your donors in different types of donors. And for those types, in turn, it generates patterns, behavioral patterns, right? Based on those patterns, I mean, these insights are tremendous already, right? It's super useful for somebody like a marketer like me, but for any fundraiser. But based on these initial analyses, they then tell you what kind of content aspects need to go into your content. That could be emotional, a certain emotional shade, or a type of like certain keywords that are crucial to that donor type. And that is basically the concept they offer, right? So they do these analyses based on machine learning, and they provide you with very specific information on how to form your content, what channels to use, what cadence you use, and what frequency you have to email people or get in touch with people to get the best outcome. How did he deal with the question? So one of the challenging questions that he got was probably an ethical one. Is it not cheating? Are people, if they do not donate by themselves, if you like trick them into donating by an algorithm that just serves the way they tick, basically? But he was totally prepared for that question. Just said, well, actually, we're not doing anything that's not happening today anyway. We're just doing it more efficiently. That is kind of true. The other question was, though, obviously data is the key to anything in the machine learning sphere, right? So what if I, as an NGO, do not have the sufficient data, or what if it's not consistent enough? So obviously, Accessible Intelligence was prepared for this kind of scenario, and their solution is simply, we have these algorithms ready, right? We have trained them with tons of data. And ideally, obviously, yes, we get your individual data, but they work nevertheless. They can take the existing algorithms as they are and put them to work for you, even if you don't bring your own data along. And so now, but how well does it work now eventually, right? And so he got to this one use case they have, so this one case study basically with the Rainforest Action Network. Accessible Intelligence was founded in May, I think he said, and that's when COVID came down on us, right? Like a ton of bricks. And in May and during COVID, they were able to increase the one-time donations by 400% during the COVID situation, right? And the petitions signed were increased by 225% during the COVID situation. And he had many more super amazing data points on this. And I just put those two out for you. So
thank you so much, Mitch. And for a non-techie, I appreciate you being able to break it down in that way so it's understandable for the whole audience. Thanks so much for your letting us know what's been going on in those breakout rooms. Don't forget, if you missed a pitch and you really want to see it, recordings will be available to you at reimaginingfundraising.org, which should be scrolling across your screen about now. But if it's not, I just said it, so you don't need it to scroll across anyway. If you haven't already as well, watched our LinkedIn page. That's where we're going to be sharing a lot of stories coming up. And there are going to be so many wonderful stories coming from today's event, as I hope you can see already. You wouldn't want to miss that. So during the months of Reimagining Fundraising, through all the planning, preparations, communications, coordinating, and finally the idea collection, we were all inspired. I know it's a word that's been said many times during this event, so if you're playing buzzword bingo, you've probably already won. But the spirit surely caught my next speaker from the event's inception, so much so that Diana already sang his praises at the end of her talk. I'm going to bring him to screen today. He has a surprise so hidden and so secret that even I don't know what it is. And I truly love surprises. So with that said, I'm going to introduce you to Juan Nunes, Head of Global Fundraising at UNICEF. Juan, the stage is yours, my friend.
Thank you, Sarah. What an amazing event. I cannot believe it. So first of all, let me share with you that this event is only another important step on Reimagining Fundraising Open Innovation Challenge. We have invested a lot of time on planning the challenge, having everyone on board, implementing the platform, weekly coordination calls with all of the co-initiators, focal points, promotion of the challenge, evaluations, and more. When we started dreaming about this initiative, we never thought we would go this far. So first of all, thank you, Sarah Kelly. What an amazing job you did. Again, not everyone knows that Sarah is actually donating all of her work for supporting this initiative. So, chapeau, Sarah, you are amazing. Thank you for training the participants on how to deliver a successful speech, and also for being the host here and one of the designers of this beautiful event. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank Hype. Hype is actually donating the platform for running the challenge, and also is supporting this initiative in many, many ways with all of their expertise and experience that they have on this area. So thank you again. Thank you, Marcelo, for supporting this challenge, and with the creatives and designs for the promotion we did, for developing exceptional media partners and coaching the finalists as well. We are so lucky to have you with us, and thanks all the media partners as well who have promoted this initiative in their networks. Such a great contribution for us. Thank you, Resource Alliance, for the promotion, and also for donating annual memberships that we will distribute to the finalists. They didn't know about this yet, so this is a small surprise, but we will be distributing annual memberships to the Resource Alliance. So hold on, you will get them. Thank you so much, Resource Alliance, for this contribution. And what to say, oh my gosh. Thank you, Resource Alliance, for donating as well the technical support from Carrie. Carrie is the person who is behind the scenes here, and is basically, I mean, a master. I mean, we cannot believe how she does this, but such an amazing job. Let me tell you that this great event was only possible thanks to her support. And Carrie, you are truly fantastic. I would like to recognize the great support we got from our online promoters, and particularly to Murphy Woods, who has been our community manager, and she did a fantastic job. Thank you very much, Murphy. And as well, speaking about volunteers, all this could only be possible with the enormous support that we got from our volunteers. What a great job you did, guys. I mean, thank you so much. Not only today, the moderators, the reporters, but also the expert evaluators. I mean, we had more than 100 evaluators. It was quite amazing. And this opportunity, I mean, this whole initiative, I think, was only possible thanks to you guys collaborating. This is a funny one, but thank you very much, Juan Guerrieri Maril. He is actually a very popular composer in the US, and Juan has donated the song, We Stand Together. And I hope that you like this song as much as we love it. Also, thank you to the 1,381 participants who has been contributed in different ways to this initiative. 350 were ideators, submitting amazing ideas and proven concepts, but also people commenting, and also people liking and voting, etc. Thank you so much. Then I want to give a big thanks to all of the co-initiator focal points, not only for your endless participation and collaboration, but for trusting and working hard to make this work. A special mention to Hao-Ying Wu. She's a real superwoman, and I'm so happy to be working with her. Ragnar Schung and Diana Rano for participating in the core team, organizing everything for this final event. You all did an amazing job. Thank you very much. Thanks for the 14 international fundraising directors who believed at the beginning and agreed to support this challenge. And one special mention to Jorge Olage and Helga Broughton for supporting and trust us. I cannot highlight the amazing contribution. I cannot hide, actually, and forget about highlighting the amazing contribution of Anna, who has been our star volunteer. And she supported the whole coordination of Reimagining Fundraising. Thank you so much, Anna. You did an amazing job. And last but not least, thank you all for joining today. We hope you keep participating in future editions, and we really hope that you enjoy this event and the whole challenge as much as we did. Thank you so much, and I hope I didn't forget anyone. Over to you, Sarah.
That was sincerely a lot of thanks to be given, Juan. Well said. And thanks to you too, of course. And thank you to our audience once again for joining us here today. Please follow the Reimagining Fundraising Initiative on LinkedIn, and we will see you next year. I wish you all a final good morning, good evening, and good night.